Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Broverwatch podcast. My name is Adam Cook, and with me, as always, is Calder, Amos Wood. Calder, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. We're recording this 17 days late. The Overwatch League matches are happening right now.
So we're going to modify the format.
The format's going to be pretty much the same, but we're just going to focus a little more on news and predictions than we usually do. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Cool. So let's jump right into the first story of the day. Huh?
Nothing. According to this Fox Sports article written by...
Oh no! Ignore all this. Okay, you're good.
Written by Max Lawton at 9 a.m. on June 12th. I believe that was today. No, that was yesterday. The Overwatch League has a very good chance of adding an Australian team in Season 2. Strange. Wouldn't expect them to be a first wave expansion team.
Considering, one, they said 2 American teams, 2 Asian teams, 2 European teams. That's our stuff. And then Australia is none of those. I'm not knocking Australia.
You can say they're an Asian team technically,
but here's another thing I saw.
But they're not like actually an Asian team.
I saw a Reddit comment about this that said, "This is great, but what's their plan for like when Overwatch League grows?" Because they've said that their plan is that they will start having teams have their own stadiums in the locations that they're dedicated to, and then teams will fly out to those stadiums. If there's friggin' stadium, if Houston's got to fly all the way to Australia, and then the next day they've got to fly back to Houston to face New York, or to face Shanghai, who just flew from China all the way to Houston, that doesn't make much sense at all.
Exactly.
So I'm a little confused. I'm really confused.
Yeah. So maybe they'll have, I guess, like a contenders thing where there's North America, Asia, and Australia would be in Asia because they're like, that's a short flight, really. And Europe, which wouldn't be ideal. I'm not going to say that's what I'd like.
I wouldn't be surprised if, I'm glad we're both doing this though. I wouldn't be surprised if what they did was, they do it where it's like all the Americas and Canada. If there's a Canada team, please be a Canada team.
I think there will be.
I don't think there will be.
Are you joking?
Apparently, apparently one of the like Overwatch League high ups said in an interview, like, we're gonna have 2 European teams, 2 Asian teams, and 2 American teams.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
2
they're going to
teams
be
in the United States.
That doesn't mean there'll never be a Canadian team.
I know. I just mean there might not be
next year. Oh, you mean for
year.
this first? Oh, yeah.
I hope there is, but anyway, the Americas will have like their one, and then the non-Americas will have their one.
No, they'll probably be grouped off in Europe and Asia.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, except here's the thing. I don't think there will be enough teams for the Europe and Asia to have 2 separate ones.
If they have 21 teams, what are they adding? 6? We're at 12 now. They have 18. So 21 teams put 7 in each division. Yeah, that's kind of small.
Yeah.
And maybe you take the top 3 from each? I don't know.
My guess is for second season, they're not going to go country to country.
No, they're not. I think that's already in the plan.
Okay, good.
It's based in LA for the next...
like 3 seasons or so.
Yeah.
I think they should do at least 3 seasons just in LA.
I think they're starting the road games, like where they'll take, this week we're playing in New York or whatever, I think they're starting that in season 3.
If I'm being honest, this is just me, opinion boy time. I think, and obviously I'm saying this as someone who just watches and it does not affect me at all. I'm just saying from a player standpoint, I feel like it just being in LA would make more sense.
Yeah.
I understand that you want to be
like forever?
Maybe.
No, not forever.
Well, okay. If in like 10 years they have 49 teams, then sure.
49 teams.
But what I'm saying is, in the near future for sure, I don't see why. Like, I understand that it's cool for like there to be pride in a city and like people in Dallas to be able to be like, yeah, Dallas is our team. Want to go catch the Dallas match later? We'll just drive 2 minutes. Right? Like, that's cool. That's awesome. But if that is being, if we're getting that, but sacrificing all the players' mental states and like sleep schedules and like a lot of unneeded money just to fly all these people, it's like they're going to be on planes while they should be scrimming or something.
They're going to figure out a way to let them scrim on a plane. Actually, or they just won't. Because they practice more than the average athlete practices. Yeah.
They practice all day.
Yeah. You don't have hockey players playing hockey all day. Like NHL players.
That's why I always get... There's like a clip of...
Listen to me.
Mine's real quick. Okay.
Go.
You know Rick Fox?
Ric Flair?
Nope, Rick Fox. That's why I said Rick Fox and not Ric Flair.
Oh.
But Rick Fox is like ex-NFL player, and then he kind of became more of like a Hollywood star. And now he owns an esports organization called Echo Fox. And he was on The View, you know, the worst show on television. He was on The View, and they were all these middle-aged mom women on this panel were saying, esports is stupid. It's not a sport. You're not exuding yourself. And okay, we're not going to get into that debate. But pretty much what he was saying was like, they're not just sitting in front of a computer and like going, oh, I'm playing a video game. They're like grinding hard all day.
They're not just clicking heads over here. Well, Goldie.
Cool. You went only in on Whoopi Goldberg. Maybe the only one that was somewhat with the idea of esports.
I didn't see the clip, but she's the only one I know on the show. Because everyone else on the show is just...
stupid and
Is that John McCain's daughter? Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know, dude. But all I know is that friggin' Kelly Osbourne used to be on it, and then they were talking about flat Earth, and then she was like, I mean, I don't know that it's not flat, and everyone's like, they were all like,
what?
And she was like, and they were like, what? Yes, you do, and she's like, no, I it's never been proven to me. And then
You've never been in a plane before, Kelly.
No, I don't know if it was Kelly Osbourne. It was someone.
Was it Raven Simone? I know she was on it for a while.
I think it might have been. Anyway, someone said it, and then like the next episode, they came on and they were like, "Listen, I didn't know what I was talking about. I know it's not flat." It was like someone talked to them. Someone.
All right.
That was a tangent, but hey,
this isn't.
We're just having a goof and a gaff over here. So
maybe that should be our next show in the off season, the Viewcast.
But
please watch YouTube clips of the video.
I wouldn't survive. Anyway, so pretty much Rick Fox was talking about how they work really hard. So I hate you. If they're working so hard, all they do is work hard. Imagine Effect and his mental state if he also was on a plane for like 12 hours a week.
Imagine him having to be like being forced to take a break. Because you think he's taking a break under his own willpower?
Is this a conspiracy?
No, I'm just saying, like, these guys are very competitive. So if it's like you can't play Overwatch for this 3 hours or on a plane, it'll probably be good for them. Kevin
Yeah, but
Durant's
they're
not.
also on a plane.
Also, Kevin Durant's one of the best basketball players in the world. He does it. You can still be good and have a plane ride every once in a while. Did I cut out? I think.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I just tuned out.
Of course you did.
Anyway, my point is, I don't know if it's worth it to have, like... Obviously, I'd love to be able to just, like, go drive to Toronto to go watch an Overwatch League game.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love that. And I'd be more invested, too, and that would be great. All positives. The one negative, though, is I feel like that's a lot of money and time that
Why are
the
you worried
Overwatch
about the
League...
money? They'll make so much more money if they have localized.
I know, but they could be using that on other things, is all I'm saying.
Like what? They haven't changed anything regarding the game. Just buy some more loot boxes.
You know what they could spend that money on? Getting dad hats in the friggin' merch store. They got snapbacks.
Nice.
They got snapbacks. Why
Yeah,
they get
that's so in style.
snapbacks?
That's only in style for nerds that think they're cool.
Literally on Twitter, they tweeted, "Finally, we have hats, everybody. Aren't you so happy?" Every reply was, "Snapbacks? Where's the dad hats?"
Exactly.
Anyway.
Conspiracy. Jeff Kaplan isn't a dad.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the story. Hopefully there's many more teams from many more locations, and hopefully they figure out a way to do it better.
Quick aside. I did math in my head. They get to, what was it? 27. Then there's 9 teams in each. You have 3 conferences. There's 9 teams in each conference. It's doable to make it so the top 3 teams make it to the overall playoffs. And I think that'd be entertaining too. Or maybe like top 4. Like, I think there's a way to do this where it's entertaining and you have the 3 different conferences. Gotta tell myself now.
I did this thing where I didn't talk, and I tried to see if you would keep talking if I didn't respond, and it worked for a bit, but not long.
Oh, important updates for my computer. Restart
DeFran. No, don't restart. If you did, I'd be upset. DeFran, famous Overwatch streamer, because he is very funny and entertaining. Used to be toxic, now very positive. He's probably the only case that I can think of that is truly reformed, because he really made an effort to be better. Except then, he still wasn't allowed to be the Denmark
community leader.
Which,
and it's only community leader too.
Which I don't think that's the reason that he's now quitting Overwatch for a bit. But I definitely think that when that happened, he was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I show so much loyalty to this game, but the game doesn't show any loyalty back. Mm-hmm. I think that probably went through his mind. But also, the meta is making a lot of streamers kind of back off for a bit.
I was playing some fucking garbage game.
Yeah,
Realm Royale.
I'm going to do my DeFran impression. It's going to be really bad. I've not quit Overwatch. Nope, not going to do it. I have not quit Overwatch forever. I just hate opening Overwatch right now and severely enjoy opening Realm Royale. Smiley face. I will come back one day. If it's next week or if it's next month, I have no clue. And then another streamer, Craggy, responded, "Welcome to the club," because he also tweeted last week or so saying, I don't like this meta, so I'm just going to leave for this season.
Oh, isn't he on the Hurricane? So he's on the Hurricane.
Maybe.
But,
yeah, so no one's really getting mad at DeFran. Because, you know, with anybody, if you do something for too long, you're going to get bored.
Yeah.
For example, this podcast.
I'm sorry, I was just reading Twitter replies.
For example,
Realm Royale.
For example, this podcast.
Put your fidget spinner down.
I could really do without doing this podcast ever again. I've been doing it too long. I might come back in a week. You know what? I'll come back in a week. It's a weekly podcast.
Realm Royale. What the fuck is that? It's disgusting. Anyway. Oh, it's just gone? Oh. It's a physical joke on a audio show. I guess we do get most of our views through YouTube. Anyway, next story.
What you didn't see
Stage
is me
4
standing
playoff.
above my bed because there's nowhere to go that way.
Stage 4 playoff probabilities. Pull this up, Adam, so the nice young boys and girls can see.
I'm trying. You just went very fast for me.
The Los Angeles Valiant are guaranteed to be in the Stage 4 playoffs.
Because they're doing very good.
The Los Angeles Gladiators are basically guaranteed to be in the Stage 4 playoffs.
Because they're also very good.
I think they need to win one. Or they just need to...
won.
Yeah.
They won the Shanghai game.
Yeah, but...
So they're in.
Yeah. The New York Excelsior are in. They need to beat one team. And they play what? Boston?
They play Houston. I know they play Houston.
They play Boston too, I'm pretty sure.
But here's we'll get into this later when we talk about season playoff probability. But I have a prediction about New York throwing the Houston game. We'll get into that later.
That's gross. I don't want to talk about that.
It wouldn't make me feel good because I'd be like, oh, we won, but not really. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Anyway, Dallas Fuel have a 35% chance rounding up, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Philly's
At first I was
got
like, what? That's less than half. But then I realized that's only because they're also
tied almost
yeah.
identically with the next two, which are Philadelphia, who's at a 32% chance, and Houston, who's at a 30% chance. Followed by my little Shockers.
They
shocked the world at the start. They shocked the world at the start. You know what I'm saying? Shocked them right at the ass. Whoopsie. But they have a 11% chance of getting into the Stage 4 playoffs.
What happened?
They went 2-1 in both their games last week, I'm pretty sure. Or they had like they just did bad last week. So they went from being very in to very out. Yeah, they went 2-1 against Philly and New York.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which it's kind of a sucker fucker.
Do you want to just do let's just
They're actually playing right now.
Since this is a weird episode, do you want to just do Stage 4 predictions right now as we have it up?
Yeah, sure.
Valiant in, Gladiators in, New York in, I think Dallas Fuel in.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same. And then I say New York, or actually Valiant take this stage. Because I'm not sure what New York's doing. If New York decides...
You think Valiant's going to take the stage?
Mm-hmm. If New York decides, like, oh, we're going to play now, then they'll win. But if they're still doing, they're like, oh, we're going to sandbag and like keep our strat secret, and Pine's going to jump all around and fucking net, then
I think they're going to try and win the Stage 4.
I mean, it is $100,000, so it's not worth nothing.
And I think they want to be able to say we won 3 out of 4 stages in the first season.
And they came second in the first one.
Yeah. Which is weird because London's so garbage now.
The Shock just full held the Valiant.
Oh, wow, interesting.
I have the game up.
Okay. Next story.
I put this one in there too. So I'll talk about it, idiot. Anyway, so this guy, Birdsey, did 10,000 simulation. Beardsey? Yeah, I don't like it.
Beezy.
Did 10,000 simulations.
I haven't interrupted you for the past 6 times you restarted.
Anyway, did 10,000 simulations to see who will make the season playoffs, and the stage playoffs, and then the percentages for both. So we're going to start from worst to best. Shanghai Mayhem, out of all of it, they're just sucking hard. Shock and Dallas out of season in stage. So they've got about, what is it, a 10%. Yeah, that's 10%. 10% chance of, what the fuck? This doesn't make 100%. A lot of sense. But a 10% chance of making...
it makes sense. What are you looking at right now?
Well, the Spitfire and Uprising have 0 for state, like they didn't make it into any of the stage playoff predictions. What?
Yeah, they can't make stage playoffs.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'm just being a stupid idiot. So San Francisco has a 10% chance, like we said. We're not going to go through those. For season playoffs, Dynasty has a 12% chance of making it. Outlaws have a 15% chance, 16 rounding up. Yeah.
I was just going to say that makes me hopeful because I thought that Dynasty had a better chance than Outlaws.
They do. Who are they playing this week?
Outlaws play New York and one other team, Philadelphia. They play New York and Philadelphia.
Yeah, so
that's a rough ride.
They gotta win both, which
And do they have to do they have to 4-0 both, or do they just have to beat
them? I think Philly has to fall out too. So they've got to beat Philly and New York, and then Philly has to lose to London or something like that.
Oh yeah. Fusion just has to win one of their or they only have to win one of their games.
Mm-hmm. So the next one's the Fusion. They have an 84% chance of making it because they have to basically only win one game. The Gladiators have an 87% chance, but I think they're locked now because of the win that literally just happened.
I don't think they're locked, but I think they're like 99.99999.
I think they're locked, but
oh well, you're the math boy.
The Spitfire are 99.99999% chance in.
99 point. And then Uprising, Excelsior, and Valiant are all guaranteed.
You're disgusting.
Here's the thing. I saw a tweet from Uprising that said, guaranteed a spot in the season playoffs, and for some reason it made me upset. Why?
Yeah,
because they're not good right now. They're not good right now. So they're just gonna get out immediately. And I know this isn't how it works, but I'd really love to see someone like the Fuel or the Outlaws in there instead of the Uprising right now.
The Shock.
Honestly, yeah. I'd rather see the Shock in there than Uprising, just because Uprising has been doing so garbage lately. Right? So, I don't know. I don't hate the Uprising. It's just, I feel like they're bad, so they're just going to get out immediately.
So right now, just seeding matters. So we could have a Philly-Boston first round because the first 1 and 2, Valiant and Excelsior, have a bye, and Valiant can't lose that top spot. So they're for sure through the first round. So right now, it looks like we can have Gladiators versus London or Boston versus Philly. Houston, if they sneak in, will likely make it to the second round because if they play Boston, that's like, come on, easy peas.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. But yeah, it's interesting. The seeding's interesting. I think the Gladiators are going to make it into that third spot, though. Are you looking at the standings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not standings. I'm still looking at this chart, but it's pretty much the standings.
Yeah. I think the Gladiators make it into the third. Boston falls to the fourth, and Boston and Spitfire have their garbage match. And Houston, I hope, makes it in, but because I don't really want to see Philly.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Here's the thing. If Fusion face... Shoot, wait. How does the schedule go?
It goes 2-6. It goes 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5.
If Houston beats Philly... You know what? What are our other news things right now? Just give me a sec. Are they important at all?
Just Travis Fleta and
We'll do those at the
Rascal.
end. We'll do those at the end. Let's just skip to predictions right now because we're in it.
Okay. We're deep in it.
We're deep in it.
We're so deep.
My prediction that I was talking about New York throwing the Houston game earlier was because I think if Outlaws somehow beat Philly on Thursday, I think then, well, first of all, then Philly they need to beat London.
Mm-hmm.
So I think New York will think, hopefully London pulls through and beats Philly. And if that does happen, then we need Houston to lose, or we need Houston to beat us so that Houston gets in instead of Philly, because I think they have a better chance against Houston than Philly.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying New York could just try to influence their thing enough, like they win that match against Boston, get into the stage playoffs, and then throw Houston to try and play Houston later.
Yes, for the season playoffs.
Because if Houston gets in and plays against Boston, they're going to beat Boston. If Houston gets in and plays against Gladiators,
they lose against Gladiators.
It's kind of a coin flip, honestly.
Yeah, but like
I could see it going both
rough
ways
lately.
Yeah, and then
say it. But so pretty much, basically, I think that if Houston beats Philly, New York throws and lets Houston
against
win.
Houston. Mm-hmm. I can see that because it looks like that's what they're doing.
I was telling my brother about this, just talking about it, trying to relate to him because he likes sports. And I was like telling him about this situation, and I was like, yeah, so I think the best team in the league is going to throw their game against my team if my team beats the other team. And then he was like, is that allowed? And I was like, I don't know. I mean,
I don't think they have rules against it yet.
Well, like,
because most leagues do have the rule, like you have
against
to play
throwing.
Miss. Yeah, like unless it's super obvious, it's hard to call them on throwing.
Well, that's the thing. That's why like sandbagging kind of saves New York, because they can be like, it's not that they're throwing it, they're just like not trying. They're not trying to show their strats.
Yeah,
but they're not throwing the game.
Like in the NBA, for example, if you say our 4-star play, like if Golden State was like Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green are all out with a left calf strain or some minor injury, the league would be like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
They're not all like that. And they'd probably get a fine or something.
They all got sick at the same time and are drinking
They all got the flu. They all kissed each other on the mouth.
So that's the Houston situation. And that's also kind of the Philly situation, because Philly needs to win one of their games. Here's what I think's going to happen. I think somehow Houston's going to pull through against Philly. So then New York is going to throw their Houston game. Houston will have won both. But then Philly only needs to win against the Spitfire. And I think Philly will beat Spitfire and we'll all be sad.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Now, there also is like a timeline where London falls out. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it if they get 4-0'd by both teams or something?
Well, if they...
Or if they get 4-0'd by both teams, but then also Houston beats Philly.
Actually, I don't know if they can fall out.
I think they can. Because the percentage was like a 99.9 or something.
Let's go back to that.
Yeah, they have
London's percentage was
a 99.96% chance.
Yeah.
So they're in.
Yeah.
But I think it's something like if London gets 4-0s in both their games, or gets 4-0'd in both their games, and then Houston beats
if Houston gets 2 4-0s, London loses
4-0, yeah.
And then Houston's in. Because Houston will be at 24. London will be at 23 in map differential.
So if Houston gets 2 4-0s and London gets 4-0'd twice, which, here's the thing, not entirely impossible.
Well, London's playing Florida, so...
Yes, but we've seen stranger things.
I didn't watch the second season.
2. Anyway, London's in.
It'll be interesting. But I think the more interesting narrative here is the seeding.
Yeah.
So, Gladiators are likely to jump up above Boston here.
Something.
Because who does Boston play?
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, Boston plays New York and Florida. So Boston loses 1-1 Gladiators. Actually, no. Let's see. Yeah, Gladiators can jump up with a good map differential. So if that happens, then we're gonna have one side of an interesting round 1, and then another just garbage round 1 with Boston and London. Or
yeah.
Yeah. So it should be fun. When do they start? The playoffs start?
July 11th.
You fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's quite.
So this ends the 17th, and then they get.
I think they get 3 weeks off.
2, 3, yeah. And then it starts the second week of July on Tuesday.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
How long are the playoffs? Is it 2 weeks?
I think it's best of 3 for each round. So there's the first round, best of 3. Second round, best of 3.
Oh, I guess it would only be 1 week.
No.
Because there's 3 games a day.
Yeah, but oh yeah.
I don't know the exact math, and I'm not willing to do it right now. But
and I don't know if they have let's see if they have a schedule.
I highly doubt it.
No, it's grayed out. Love this website.
Well, it's because we don't know what teams are in it.
I mean, you can just show us schedule though.
That's true. Anyway, point is, if it's only in a 1 week thing. Oh wait, no, that still wouldn't work because we both have work. But for the season finals,
the grand finale,
you and I should get together, watch it, and maybe do like a live podcast.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
You think we're actually gonna do that?
Nope, probably not. But we'll say we will, so that maybe we do.
Let's see how my boys are doing. Oh, so it's right now live checking on the current game going on. Valiant lost the first map 1-0 to San Francisco, and Valiant currently has 2 points on the second map, which is Hanimura.
San Francisco hasn't gone yet.
Just getting ready to run. Yeah.
By the time you've watched this, the game
will be over,
done.
So it won't matter a single bit.
Do you want to talk a bit about Seoul and their road to playoffs?
Honestly, no. Seoul is just we will, obviously, because it's part of the fucking shit we do as a job, as a profession,
as a paid
sponsored profession.
Well, the thing is, we're kind of in that right now, so we may as well talk about it now. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
Because this is a mumble jumbled garbage podcast.
Seoul is kind of. They have 2 sides to them, right? There's the side where you're like, oh my god, this is a great team. They have these great flashes. And then the side where you're like, did the Shanghai Dragons put on the wrong jerseys? Is that what's happening here?
Well, that's racist if you can't tell them apart, so.
You could say that about anyone. I don't know what that means.
Also, I think Shanghai Dragons are like a majority Koreans now, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, they're like 50-50 Korean, I think.
Yeah.
Korean Chinese.
At least on the starting roster.
But there's parts where where you look at Seoul and you're like, oh, they're just not playing this now. The game's just over in their mind. But they're at a halftime.
You know what? This might be a good time to jump in and say, do this little story.
The Rascal story?
No, the Fleta story.
Oh.
So, Fleta...
Garbage.
Fleta is known as one of the better players in general.
DPS.
Or yeah, he's just known as like a very good player. But someone took Fletta's Stage 4 Widowmaker stats. He's known for playing Widowmaker. Some were even arguing in stages 1, 2, and 3, is Fleta one of the best Widowmakers?
I think he was
stats, if you look at these stats,
Mm-hmm.
he is second. That's pretty good in deaths per minute. Or
Ooh,
deaths
that's not
per
good.
10 minutes. No, that's pretty good. Second rank, because it means he dies the least.
Sorry, I was being dumb for a second. When I read that, I was like, oh, he's second worst. Like, he's... Like, the first one is, like, the worst one, and the second's the best.
Yeah, so he
worst.
doesn't die that often.
Yeah.
Big whoop. All right? Out of 17 players, he is 12th for eliminations, 12th for final blows, 14th for solo elims, and last for critical hit accuracy.
Yeah, not good.
Best Widow in the game.
Was.
I know, I'm making a joke.
Yeah, it's probably Architect.
I think it's Linkser.
You ever forget how good the Overwatch League is?
What do you mean?
You just don't watch it for a little while, and then you forget how good it is. Because I'm watching this game right now, and I'm just...
I was thinking about it earlier today when I was watching the Travis Gafford interview, where I was like, this is really cool. Like, this is really awesome. They have so many resources, and it's so, like, clean. And yes, it has its problems.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems.
But, you know.
Yeah.
I don't care about them.
I'm loving this new San Francisco team, too.
Now, since I mentioned it, let me just open this Travis Gafford interview real quick. I'll just talk very briefly about this. For those of you who don't know, Travis Gafford is an esports interviewer and personality. He does a lot of he mainly does League of Legends, pretty much only does League of Legends stuff. Interviews, he knows a lot of the players, and he pretty much came to the Blizzard Arena to kind of see what the Overwatch League is all about, learn a little bit more about it, and compare and contrast. And pretty much what he ended up saying was, it's a lot cleaner. The fans are very dedicated, and he thinks that's just because they're location based. Or that's not the only reason, but it's one of the main reasons.
But it's a main reason.
Yeah, and he says the stadium is a totally different experience than the LCS, because he says the LCS is like someone took a studio and turned it into an arena, whereas this feels like someone took a theater and turned it into an arena.
Didn't they say it was the Johnny Carson in the same studio as Johnny Carson's old show?
And he said that the best part was like that the screens wrap around, so it's like you're in a fully immersed experience, and in between you see the maps. And he just said it's like the experience is much more, you feel like you're there. It's really cool. And then he also said the way they do their merch is cool, because like right off the bat they have merch for every team, the same merch for every team.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the LCS, and I know this because like I used to watch the LCS a decent amount, and there was a point where I was like, maybe I should get some merch. Each team kind of does their merch on their own, and it's kind of independent, and it's not very consistent.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And I think that comes with having a localized team. It's like, it's harder to do merch for these
TSM.
Weird... Yeah.
And
it's like...
Clutch Gaming.
What does that mean?
Yeah. And so
it's easier to wrap your head around if you do it for like the San Francisco team instead of the TSM Envious Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did he talk about? There was one other thing that he touched on. I forget. Anyway, Travis is a really cool guy. I expected it to be much more like, this is cool, but I prefer League of Legends. But he was very supportive.
He said everyone that's a fan should go check it out.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be able to go check it out.
Yeah.
One day.
One day. when we have
One guy.
kids, we can go ditch them. Not the same
Yeah.
kids, but like we'll eat.
Maybe.
Yikes. But yeah, he did say like if you're a fan of esports, it's definitely an experience worth checking out if you can. And also, he pointed out that Bishu from LA
Yes,
Gladiators
played
used to
LCS.
play League of Legends.
Did he play in the LCS?
I think he was a backup for a
Okay.
team, but he also mentioned that, or no, he
Now he's
didn't
a
mention
front.
this, but I think Monty tweeted that Badoshin used to be in the or like a League of Legends player. You know Gamsu used to be a starter on a like LCS team, and then he left
Do I have his face I'm making?
because you don't care. Anyway,
Don't they get paid a lot more in the LCS too?
well, yeah, but they've also been around for like 6 years or so. Like there's a guy on Team Liquid who signed a $2 million contract.
Like $2 million a year? Or
I
$2
think
million total?
I think it was $2 million for the year. For the 1 year.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Not quite the $35 million LeBron James makes, but we're
No.
getting close. We're getting close.
And just really quick, let's touch on this Rascal story very, very briefly because,
This game's just grabbing me right now.
it's fine.
I'm sorry.
Rascal tweeted a picture from an airport and said, with good news on the way to the USA. So Rascal's coming back to the US with good news. Hopefully, this means that he's...
On another team?
Yep.
Hopefully.
Or at least that he's, like, trying out for teams or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exciting because I like Rascal. Now...
Yeah. Well, I like all the players.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, what else is there really to talk about? We talked about the standings. We talked about the probability. You know what? Let's just briefly talk about. I kind of just wanted to quickly talk about how like why we like the Overwatch League because the video that Travis made
Made you
me
want to talk
realize
about
like
it?
it just made me realize like man this is really cool because I remember in like not December, it was probably like October or November, where I was like, oh shoot, they're doing an Overwatch League thing. I love watching the LCS, but I don't play League of Legends. So maybe this is my thing. This is cool. And then now it's just happening. It's just a regular thing now. And we have a podcast about it also, which is weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I love the Overwatch League.
Yeah, it's good. Why?
I don't know. I think it's because I really liked watching the LCS because I liked the players and I liked being loyal to the players and the teams and I liked cheering for the
You mean like
teams.
following a sport?
Yeah. But like for some reason in esports it's like so much more about the players than it is the teams than it is with normal sports I've found.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's like there's face cams, I think. Because you're basically like, you can basically touch the players. Like, you play the game, you started playing the game the exact same way as they did.
Yeah. And it's also
And they're also around the same age as you.
And also, the players are much more in tune with their fan base, and they're much more interactive. Like, LeBron James ain't never going to do a Reddit AMA.
No. Not until he's trying to advertise for one of his businesses so he can make $1 billion.
Yeah. But, like, the players are on Twitter responding to fans, talking about the game, talking about the team.
And they stream, too.
And they stream. Because even though they're esports pros, they're also internet personalities. So everybody, and something about that makes it a lot more personal.
There's just like a level of loyalty to them because you're like you don't cheer for Dallas,
No,
but you like Siegel.
I love Seagull. And here's the thing, honestly, because this was a concern when I bought my Houston Outlaws jersey. I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if I'm gonna be. No, I think it's 18 business days, and I ordered it like last week, so it'll probably come next week. It's
What's
up
18
to
business
18
days?
business days. I think it's 8 to 18. I don't know when it's gonna come, but I'm trying to forget it so that when it shows up, I'm like, oh yeah, cool. It's a surprise. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be cheering for Houston next year, because all the players I like might leave, or they might get players that I don't like. I don't think that'll be a reason, because whatever.
You'll just like them.
Yeah. But also, like, what if I still like the Houston Outlaws, but then there's a Toronto team, and then Seagull and XQC get signed to the Toronto team? Then I'll be like, oh, shoot. I now love this Toronto team, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I had the same thing with the LCS, because I was a TSM fan, because when I first started watching, they had this roster, and then for the next 3 years I watched, they had the same roster. And then this past season, they switched it up completely. They got rid of 3 out of the 5 players. And those were my 3 favorite players on the team. So I was like, am I a TSM fan anymore? And I don't know what I am anymore. Because all 3 of those players went to different teams. And I'm like, so I didn't really watch this season because I just didn't know where I was supposed to be. But I'm so hyped, my boy, for the off season, because it's going to be so interesting. I was afraid that we wouldn't have anything to report on, but I know there will be a lot of news. And maybe during the off season, we can try to actually have guests on the show.
Yeah.
Like, actually.
Maybe that should be my job.
We can both do it. We'll go, hey, Jake and Muma.
I wonder if they need authorization from the league.
They probably do. Or at least from the team. And then the team asks the league, but no one's going to come on this podcast. I would blow... My life would be complete if anybody from the Overwatch League came on this. Dude,
if we get snow from Boston,
I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, what's it like?
Let's try to get snow. Let's try to get snow from Boston.
Let's try to get snow from Boston.
Yeah.
And we'll just ask
Try
him
to get
about
him
his
some playing
life,
time. Yeah. I was like, who are you?
What's
your name even? What's your name?
Who are you, and why are you on this Overwatch League podcast? Do you even know what this game is? I've never seen you before.
But I've never seen you play. Hopefully I'll get some playing time.
I don't think you will. I don't think you will.
Anyway.
Unless they're in like their last match of the season playoffs and they're facing New York and they know they're going to lose, maybe they'll throw them in, but I doubt it. Anyway, I'm really excited for the future of the Overwatch League, the future of this podcast, and the future of our friendship.
Oh, I'm not excited for that last one.
Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode. Sorry that it was a late one. Yeah, he is. Sorry that Boston just uploaded a snow video just about him. So let's watch that and try and get him on the show. Everybody, thank you for watching this episode. Sorry that it's a little late. Sorry that it's a little weird and it was a little mumble jumbled, but we appreciate you watching it anyway. And we'll catch you next week, hopefully on time. Oh, wait. For this next episode, we actually have to record on Sunday because I'll be gone for the whole week starting Monday.
Where?
I'm going to my boss's cottage to work at his cottage.
Oh, yeah. Right. There.
It wasn't my decision.
We'll try to do our Sunday. Maybe in the morning. Because it's Father's Day and shit.
Well, in the morning, I'll be at church.
God, you're so disgusting. Just end it.
If there's no podcast next week, it'll be the off week. Who cares? But we'll try to have one up. Thank you, everybody.
It'll be a stage playoffs, but...
No, stage playoffs are on the... Oh, shoot, you're right. Wait, so then why would we record in the morning if the stage playoffs are...
I don't know, Adam Cook.
Don't reveal my last name to the whole internet.
It's fine. You
I
already have,
literally
like,
say
40
my
you have 40 YouTube
last name at the beginning of every show. Thank you
Can
everybody
you
for
stop? I want
watching.
to listen to the snow
Dude,
thing.
I'm trying to stop the show. Thank
Can
you
you stop, please?
Thank you everybody for watching the show and listening. We appreciate it. Goodbye. We love you.
Make your thumbnail.